Let's get going with our review of the Cyansky K3. This is, in my opinion, a game-changer light in the world of up-and-coming flashlight manufacturers. Now, we all know the big names. We know Phoenix, we know Streamlight, we know Surefire. We even know ACEbeam. And ACEbeam used to be an up-and-comer and for the last 10 years has worked on establishing themselves. But names like Odapro and Sofern and now Cyansky, which for the longest time I thought was Cyansky. I thought this was a Russian flashlight. Oh, you know, comrade. It's Cyansky, and it is another Chinese flashlight company, but it is not just another company. It is going to establish itself quite well. I urge all companies, Chinese companies, to be very careful about not outpricing themselves too early. And I'm going to comment more on that in a minute. But first of all, look at this box. Look at this box. Just that right there. Look at the simple color contrasts. You have the rugged charisma of this very militaristic looking light. You can see the features very easily and come away with the idea that this company has a very strong image as far as targeting their market. So let's start from the side. Super long range tactical flashlight. The K3, it boasts 1600 lumens, 600 meters. It'll take a 21700 or 18650 and a zirconium bezel for striking, breaking a window. So if you see one of these worthless parents that leave their child or their dog in the car and you decide to break the window, bam, you just go right up there and it will tear through it, no problem. Just putting this down, it will dent the wood. Like, it's really strong, these zirconium striking, but we'll get to that in a moment. 1600 lumens, 100 hours total runtime by FL1 standard. Again, 90,000 KCD, 600 meters, 2 meter drop, IPX8. So what you're getting here is a goddarn very worthy presentation of the product. And look at this, I tore the box. Look at the technical parameters. They're written just easily so that you can read them. And if you want, you can pause this right here and decide if this is something you want. Here's the output. I like how they have measured on all levels. You have turbo of the runtime and the stats. These stats are actually a little under what I got. They're actually, this light is ahead because this is one of the brightest FST40s. It is the brightest SFT40 I have. I'm getting at startup close to 2000 lumens, and it is very bright. It just punches out there with such a useful beam that it's incredible. All of the modes are very useful, and you can really use them if you want to. So here's the runtime section. Notice this is flat regulation. Well, you get just one step down on the highest mode, and then it's a very respectful step down, which I'll go into. But everything else is flat regulation. And if you want to put it on the 800 lumen mode, the number 2 mode, there's not a step down at all. There's just a whole bunch of usable light thrown out there. Honestly, this graph and the flat regulation is really powerful because this is a well-driven light that is going to maintain its brightness, and that's what I look for. Number 1, that's part of the holy trinity of worthy flashlights. There's no direct drive going on, there is regulation. And then here's the accessories included. You get everything you see right here, which we're going to look at. So that's a great box right here. I love the packaging. It's simple. It's up front. You get of course, your warranty card. You get your instruction manual. I only caught one. Where was it? One typo, and it was, I think it's in the manual, but it says Trubo instead of Turbo. Here it is, right on the back. Trubo instead of Turbo. There's Turbo and there's Trubo. I thought that was funny, but no matter. But this is actually a well-written instruction manual. It presents everything nicely. Here's a paracord. I like these. I don't for this light, but I like this style because if you do want it, you can put it in your hand, make sure you don't drop the light. You have your warranty card. You have your USB Type-C, which is what this light is going to use. You get, of course, the included battery. Now, with this included battery, which, by the way, I have discharged several times and capacity tested, it is offering about 5,000 milliwatt amps, and it will run a damn long time with a lot of use. You just pop it in. The disadvantage of this is you're going to have battery issues and rattle issues if you use a smaller battery, so you'll need to use a proper spacer. You can see inside there, and then I'm just going to put it right in. And we're going to look at the threads. It is very well, nicely threaded. There's good tension. And this goes on there firmly. There's no lacking assurance that this is going to stay with you and serve you well. Look at that. Look how rugged and good looking that is. I mean, it's just like the model of lights, but it screams competence and power. Honestly, if you had this in your hands, you're going to go around, people are going to be afraid of you if they know what's good for them.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Pretty standard fare case. Of course, the plastic and the little thingy that goes in the battery to keep the light from activating, and some O-rings. Okay, let's forget about all of that because that's not what you care about. Now, most of the time, when I look at a light, I'm looking for most of the three things. Does it have momentary on? Does it have constant current regulation? The ability to tail stand? Does it have the ability to run with minimal step down? Is it prone to accidental activation? These are all the questions I'm answering. So if we just do that, pretty good. Because of that nice belt clip, it has really good. It has some ridging on the head here that's very nice. The button, there's no battery rattle. It feels secure. You can hear it rattle a little bit, but it's not going to uninspire you. It's not going to make you feel like you accidentally activate it. Of course, you don't activate anything with the side switch on this model. Instead, you activate with the tail cap. And then if you want to go through the modes, you go through the modes. You have some very useful modes. And you're back on high. You turn it off. When you turn it off, it's going to stay in that mode. So if you decide you want to go down to the second to highest mode, let's go back. You turn it off, guess what? It's staying in that mode until Kingdom Come. So you can run it at this white rate till however you want to. So let's go back here and let's turn it back on high. And we're gonna go out and play. Here it is, a Cyansky K3. Very, very impressive. We will quickly go through all of the modes. Man, this thing is a bright SFT40. So here's the lowest mode, which you can barely see. Extremely impressive. A lot is to be said for this light. And one of the things that you're confronted by is the fact, again, the glass breaker, the resistance, the tail cap action. Notice it doesn't flicker after you let your hand off the button, which a lot of cheaper lights do. They pop back up and flicker. No pulse width modulation. So folks, as you guys can see, this is an absolutely stunning light, and you would be a complete fool to not add it to your collection. It tail stands perfectly, and with everything it offers. Now, as we noticed on the outside, there are some artifacts in my sample, in the beam. But this will only really be noticed by tent snobs and people who tend to really worry about their beam quality or their beam, you know, the look of their beam. In practical use, that is going to evaporate. You're not going to care about that at all. Anodization is just amazing. I don't feel like this is a cheap light. I don't want to add to it. I don't want to put a tactical ring on it. I don't want to put anything else on it because it feels really strong. They might add a small tactical ring, but they really don't have to. It's grippy in the hand. I don't feel like it's going to break, and I feel like anytime I need to use it, it's going to be there for me. Now, this light was sent to me for review, full disclosure, but I would gladly pay money to have it. I would buy it again, and that's one of the, I guess, one of the hallmark critiques of whether or not I really like a light. Is it something that I would buy again? Or is it something that I would pass on because they want too much money? This is going to cost you about 80-ish US dollars, but it's worth it. It's worth every red cent. And I say that because of everything that is offered here. A lot of these flashlight manufacturers tend to ask too much for their money, but this is not too much. And of course, we understand that a lot of manufacturers, they simply don't have the budget to to sell mass market. But we don't want mass market. We want a very good offering, and much like a good meal, you want to pay for it. You want to pay for a good meal. So that is my 2 cents on this. I think definitely you should enjoy what it offers by way of its brightness, by way of its range, by way of its pocketability. It's just a sure hit. You can use my link if you like, and you can get a little bit more of a discount. But again, I'm looking forward to Cyansky and the things that they're going to be coming out with in the future. Thanks, guys.